Hello beautiful people, here's a review of the US B-26 Marauder bomber added with the Windows Change update. Hope you enjoy. The Marauder sits at battle rating 4.7 after the B-25s and with the same battle rating as the first B-17 heavy bomber. The Marauder is really a mix between a B-25 and the B-17, so it's placed perfectly at battle rating 4.7. The bomber has also been added to the French tech tree, and here it will have an even greater impact. Let's look at some of the pros and cons. Some of the pros. Flight characteristics. The B-26 is a little slower than the last B-25 with 424 km an hour with a bomb load at 4,000 meters. Turn time is also a little slower than the B-25 with 34 seconds empty. I wish I could tell you more about the flap limits and how strong the wings are, but they have not yet updated the B-26 information page. Bomb load. The B-26 has for its size great bomb load options, but more about that in a bit. Armament. The bomber has both defensive and offensive 12.7mm heavy machine guns, and I'll return to that as well. Landing gear. The bomber has tricycle landing gear, meaning that as soon as you touch down, you can apply the brakes and keep them on. The Marauder will not nose over. 2 pilots. The Marauder has 2 pilots, so in case one is knocked out, you will not see the hangar screen right after. Armor protection. The bomber has armor plates protecting all of the gunners and pilots. Web. You can use war emergency power for quite a long time before the engines turn red. And some of the cons. Armament. The Marauder has some issues when it comes to the defensive guns guidances, and the forward-firing 50 cals have little ammunition. Slow-ish. The 424 km an hour sounds fine, but for the size of the bomber, it's really on the border of being too slow, and I just got it up to 412 km an hour tops, never the 424. Unspaded. The Marauder is pretty rough unspaded. This is one of the aircraft where there's a large difference between stock and the spaded experience. The Marauder has one of the best bomb loads of any bomber in War Thunder for the size and battle rating. Maximum amount of TNT drop is just shy over 1.2 tons compared to the B-25's 950 kilograms. So the Marauder has a 25% larger bomb load TNT-wise. The 1.2 tons is reached with the 8 600-pound bombs, which by the way are new to the game. These contain 152 kilograms of TNT and is also the most versatile bomb load for the Marauder. The stock bomb load is the 30 100-pound bombs. It's not awful TNT-wise with 735 kilograms, but it's not enough to destroy a base on its own. The other bomb loads are with 300, 1000 and 2000 pound bombs, but even the 1000 and 2000 pound bombs are even less TNT-wise compared to the 8 600-pound bombs. So once unlocked, and you do that with the first bomb load upgrade, stick with the 8 600-pound bombs and only use the other options for ground pounding and mixed battles. This highly detailed rear turret has a clever design where the gunner is sitting behind armor plating protecting him, instead of sitting in the turret itself and only being protected by plexiglass or in some cases armored glass. It's not much, but it does increase his survivability against light machine guns. The turret is equipped with 2 12.7mm Browning M2s. Rate of fire is 750 rounds per minute, and each of the 50 cals has 800 rounds of ammo, which is enough. Horizontal guidance is plus/minus 45 degrees, and vertically it's also plus and minus 45 degrees. Now the horizontal guidances are okay for such a turret design, but the vertical guidances are good, and those tend to be more important so you can still fire at a plane below and behind you. Behind the rear gunner we find these beam or waist positions. They are placed pretty oddly, but will help out the rear gunner covering some blind spots. They each have a single Browning M2, but with very little ammo. This is also a testament of them not being that useful and only able to shoot in some circumstances. Horizontal guidances are plus 40 and minus 18 degrees. Vertically it's minus 25 and plus 10 degrees. So what these positions can do is surprise chasing enemy fighters, thinking they're clear of the rear gunner's sight, They should be able to shoot at planes that are below and to the left and right of the bomber. We do have some issues though with the dorsal turret. The turret can rotate 360 degrees, so that is initially great. Vertical guidances are 0 and plus 85 degrees, which is also nice, so the turret can almost shoot straight up. But look at the placement. Sitting right behind the huge vertical stabilizer, this means that the dorsal gunner cannot help defend the bomber from attacks direct aft. Furthermore, the 0 degrees of vertical guidance is not true. As you can see, the turret itself seems lowered a bit into the fuselage. This means that the turret has quite limited ways of helping out defending the bomber in the first place. It can shoot horizontally. It can only shoot, I would say, from plus 10 degrees and upwards. And it can shoot towards the rear of the bomber until it has cleared the huge stabilizer. Great on paper, but quite shitty in reality. Moving on. In the nose we find the last of the defensive positions, again with a trusty 50 cal, and again with little ammunition, but again, that's okay. This position is not nearly as needed. The guidances here are also quite limited. Horizontal guidances are only plus minus 20 degrees, not good. Vertically it's a little better with plus 15 and minus 30 degrees. The second 50 cal you see here is part of the offensive weaponry. And more interestingly, the Marauder also has an array of offensive 50 cals, 2 on each side, and the one next to the nose gunner. The top 50 cal has 250 rounds of ammo and the bottom one 200 rounds, so all in all the 5 have 1100 rounds total. 1100 rounds is sadly not a lot, and not even half of what the B-25 has offensively. But if you hit something with a combined volley of the 5 machine guns, things will have a bad day. As I mentioned, the bomb load of the Marauder is great. Now with the B-25 on an operations map, you will often not be able to destroy even a single base on your own. With the Marauder you can do that with its 25% increase in bomb load compared to the B-25. At better rating 4.7, the Marauder's top speed is on the edge of being too slow to be able to reach enemy bases before fighters will be on top of you. But it really depends on the size of the map. You can always try to go for it and see what happens. Maybe you get lucky and get through, or see enemy bombers along the way you can attack with offensive weapons. If you decide to just go for it, I suggest that you put the Marauder into a 5 or 10 degrees dive. That will usually ensure that you will be able to drop the bombs just before the majority of fighters will catch up to you. So while they're busy climbing to altitude, you are busy diving. Alternatively, you can side climb with a bomber. That is also safer and will let your friendly fighters catch up to your altitude and hopefully start forcing the enemy fighters down towards the ground. Once the bomb bay is empty, the Marauder becomes much more responsive and fun to fly. It behaves a great deal better than an empty B-25 as well. Of course you can dogfight with it, but there's always the option of looking for an enemy bomber to attack. Alternatively, you can head back for another bomb load and here maybe switch to the 30 100 pound bombs and go ground pounding and strafe targets with your offensive and defensive armament. The Marauder is also excellent in mixed battles and probably even better than in air battles. It has for mixed battles amazing bomb load options and they are all valid. You can carpet bomb with the 30 100 pound bombs or drop them in series of 4. You can single out tanks with 8 600 pound bombs or try find clusters of tanks for the 1000 and 2000 pound bombs. You can also get adventurous and try strafe SPAGs with the 50 cals, and now that they have been buffed, they are more deadly than ever. Okay, so the Marauder is a nice addition to the American bomber tech tree, but the Marauder has a much greater impact on the French bomber tech tree. The French has very few decent bombers, and the Marauder will be a great addition. So if you're a fan of bombers, and especially the US 4.7 lineup, definitely go spade and use the Marauder.
Attention to the map! Attack the A point!
If you like the video and the content on the channel in general, do me a favor and like, subscribe and comment. You can also go the extra mile like Grouchy Old Man and support the channel in a more direct way. I've opened a shop on spreadshop.com where merchandise with the channel logo is available. More designs will follow soon. Thank you for watching, and until next time, remember to deploy your die breaks. Have a good one.